Hello and welcome, it's Japan, and this is the final Royal Rumble video that I have. Just the full, uh, everything about the Royal Rumble. I did a few breakdowns of every participant that came out yesterday, but I just kind of wanted to do an overview of this, just I don't know. The Royal Rumble is still one of my favorite events. There's just so much that brings up, like, it's really the mark of the Road to WrestleMania. I know that's kind of what it is, but like, you really start feeling it because it's like you start getting these matches are like getting developed through the match itself, which I feel like the men did this a lot better. It's nothing against the women. I don't think the women personally did wrong with this because I think it was just how the story was told. But like, there was so much story that was told in the men's Royal Rumble that like we got plenty of WrestleMania matches from just that. But yeah, I figured we'd just jump into talking about it and get into more depth. So we'll start in order with the women's Royal Rumble. First, right off the bat, oh my God, the NXT people that came up and showed out were just, it was just so much fun to see that. I was wearing my Julia shirt. I was so excited to see her in there. I really didn't expect it. I didn't expect, well, it was like Lash Legend, I assumed might make it in there, but you never know. There's 30 spots and there's plenty of people that were rumored to be there and weren't there. So like there could easily have eaten up those spots, but I think Lash showed off really good. I'm really going to be surprised that like out of what there was five of them that made it up. I would not be surprised if we see two of them get called up. I think Lash Legend and Roxanne Perez might get the call up. I think Perez, the way that she had the Iron Woman status plus being second, I feel like she should be thrown to SmackDown and take that title right off of Chelsea Green. Like as soon as Friday type of thing because it's like she is shown how much she can do and she deserves that like super red hot start because it's like back before those mid card titles you would just have to take a chance like with Tiffany Stratton you just had to take a chance on a big title and sometimes people aren't going to get that opportunity because they're not really ready for that big shot. But now having that mid card title, you can do that and figure it out like you do with Braun Breaker and see that like, yeah, this is a person to keep a title on. And I feel like Carmelo Hayes is probably very similar, going to be in that place for taking maybe Nakamura out. But I kind of digress. But yeah, overall the match I think was good. I would say it lacks some cinematic moments of like we had a lot of stuff going on, but like that big portion where a bunch of people got eliminated by Nia Jax, I thought kind of sucked because those were some big names and they really didn't even get much of a go out. It was just kind of send up. Some of the surprises were okay. Like I feel like the surprises, if you compare the men to the women, were better, but like there wasn't as many like lasting things. I mean, Trish Stratus, that's going to be like a one off. Nikki Bella probably is going to be a one off. They said maybe she's coming back. Not really sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I never was really in that diva era of wrestling. Like, never really knew much about it or watched it back then. So, like, to me, I'm not really sure what type of skills she has. I know she has some pretty mic skills and stuff, but like, I don't know exactly wrestling skills if she's like one of those people you would want in a full time thing. I mean, a couple matches would be fine. Elimination Chamber match could be fine too, but I guess we'll see. I think overall, Charlotte Flair winning, it was inevitable. It wasn't like it was my pick to win, but like it wasn't because I wanted her to win. I wanted Io Sky, and I still to wanted to win something to get to that promised land. But I think as we can tell, it's going to be Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton, and I agree with Charlotte Flair winning here if it's Charlotte Flair versus Tiffany Stratton at WrestleMania because whatever result you do at WrestleMania, if Charlotte Flair beats Tiffany Stratton, it makes still Tiffany look like $1 million because you're losing to a legend, and if she beats Charlotte Flair, that propels her like it did Rhea Ripley into a whole new category. I definitely think Tiffany Stratton should have like a mini feud and fight somebody at Elimination Chamber just to get an extra title defense under her belt. But yeah, I mean, I like that part. Now, if they go Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley, I don't know what the point of this was. I really don't understand it at that point because we've seen it before. it doesn't really give anything for Rhea, who we want to see somebody new and somebody strong to go against Rhea. It, like, not saying that Charlotte Flair is not those things, but we already know that Rhea can beat her on a consistent basis because she was the one that originally beat her 2 WrestleManias ago to start this streak that I almost guarantee you she would. Rhea, if she didn't get hurt, would be holding on to this belt going into WrestleMania from when she took it off Charlotte Flair. So I feel like if that's the call that they make on that side, I think the Royal Rumble was wasted on Charlotte Flair. If they do it on Tiffany Stratton, I think it was fine for the long term storytelling that Triple H has done. I do feel like cinematically this match had a lot less threads. I mean, we'll see like Ivy Nile versus Lyra. We might even see, Piper decide to take out Chelsea Green. Like, we have small things, but it's not as much as what we saw in the men's. I think overall, I'll put it in A. It's still amazing. I still love the Royal Rumble. Just compared to, I guess, what we see with the men's, which is not too much of a spoiler, you can see the difference. Next up, we had the 2 out of 3 falls tag match. Not a lot to be said here, to be honest. I think the match itself was okay. We've seen this match and we've seen this the styles going against each other before if you watch SmackDown on a consistent basis. So it wasn't like anything too out of the ordinary, at least like between these guys. Solid match. Definitely deserved to be on the card. It was a good spot to put in there. I just really hated the ending. I really feel like that really tainted it because this would have been like a B, almost like A match because it was solid. I was feeling it. And then the Street Profits attacking uh Motor City Machine Guns. They're like, well, yeah, it makes sense because they're getting attacked, so they can take the titles off DIY. Why? You could just beat up DIY and take the titles off them. Why would you help the team that took you out? That doesn't even like make any type of sense. It's like, why? You just gave them another pass. Plus, they're not going to give you a title shot because they know you're pissed off. And now you're going to have to go earn it. You could have more than likely done something else to get a title shot sooner. It just logically doesn't make any sense. I know it's wrestling, and there does not always have to be logic, but because of that, I'm putting it in C because I just didn't enjoy that ending. That really ruined the match for me. So yeah, C. Next up, we have ladder match, Cody versus Kevin Owens. Now, KO is either the greatest seller in the world or he's dead. That was the ending was kind of scary to be honest. Like, um, you kind of just sat there for a moment and was like, is he like legitimately hurt or not? I honestly to this day, and I probably won't even know until they actually report it, know if he's actually hurt because it was just so brutal that like they could tell me he broke his neck and I would not even, I wouldn't even question whatever they report as his injury because it's like he just looked just out of it. And then they made Cody pose above him. I know it was part of the whole thing. Like there was definitely something that they already had planned out, but man, they made Cody look like freaking Homelander. The blood, like all he was missing was like Kevin Owens' blood on his face. Like if he just had wiped it off or something, being on top, that would have been even better. I don't know. It's just this match was good. This was Cody's probably second best defense next to the AJ Styles one. So I'm gonna put it up in S tier because it was really good. The storytelling, the match itself, the ladder spots were all really good. I love that little mini ladder. That was my MVP. But yeah, S tier match. Then we go to the men's Royal Rumble where there was a lot of stuff here to talk about. Having Penta number 2 was amazing, and to go against Ray, which like we know that match is inevitable gonna happen, and I like it because like they obviously have like styles that complement each other. I wouldn't know if I would want that as my WrestleMania match, but if it happened, I don't think it would be bad. I don't really want to see them as allies. I think Penta's kind of like one of those people that's not really a heel or a face. He kind of just goes down the middle. He just likes to wrestle, and that's fine. Like he can do certain stuff, but I don't feel like he needs to be stuck in that LWO like vortex of stuff because he's going to be a side character to Rey Mysterio because Rey Mysterio is just so great. So like it's hard to do that. So hopefully side tangent of this whole thing that they don't do that, but Penta looked at like $1 million. So many people had great moments in there, and like even towards the back with CM Punk, Roman Reigns, John Cena, Seth Rollins, like all that when they all squared off, that was great. And and Rollins at the end going all out on Roman Reigns and leaving is just it's crazy. I just that itself was just those moments were just so crazy that of matches that we could get in WrestleMania because if we get a CM Punk Roman Reigns Seth Rollins triple threat match, that is that's almost worthy of a main event spot without even having a title involved. And obviously John Cena kind of had that where we thought he might win and then Jey Uso won. With Jey winning, it's a little 50-50 for me because me personally, if you take out any storyline or who the champions are, I want Jay to win. I like Jay. He seems like a great guy. He seems like he's definitely improving and like even showing what off of what skills he does have in the ring. I think he was the super kick Uso splash guy because he was part of a tag team and that's kind of what you have on tag teams. You don't really get to pull out the bag of tricks. And I think he had that for a solid year just riding him being extremely over and now people that are starting to maybe turn on him, he's starting to pull out more tricks, and I think he's doing great. And I really enjoy what they've done with Jey Uso's character from the ups and downs and the just constant like he's in that main event scene and you think that at any moment he's just going to be pulled out of it and he's going to be sitting off to the side and not being able to do anything other than be tag team action, but they keep making sure he stays in there and I like it. I like Jay a lot. I think he's probably become one of my favorite wrestlers because I never really watched wrestling during like the big giant Uso push, and then when I got in there, he had just been turning on Roman. Like it's just I like the character he's grown from, and I like everything that they've done. He's so over, even to this day. I mean, he has such a like what you would think is a stupid catchphrase with Yeet, and he's just still extremely over and doing everything. So I'm glad Jay won. If you minus all the story aspects, I think it's the best decision. Now, if you add the storylines, because that's what we have to do, it's confusing to say the least because there's two things of it. Because I guess main event of WrestleMania um, has always been night two, but I guess they could mean night one because I don't think Jay versus Gunther main events night two. It's not that I think they don't deserve it. It's just you have Cody, who is the face of the company, and he's obviously going to have a match. And now with the Elimination Chamber, with how stacked maybe those six that are going to be in there, I think it's hard not to think that that storyline and that build-up isn't going to be the one that main events night two. That being said, if it is night one, that it makes sense. There is a small possibility. I guess Jay could challenge Cody. He kind of has only said Gunther, and that was kind of I think the red flag that I originally thought. But I was like, man, you're calling your shot at Gunther, and not a lot of people want to see that. Then he's probably not going to win the Royal Rumble, and maybe he has a better chance of the Elimination Chamber because that'd be his only way to face Gunther. But no, that wasn't the case. So I'm a little surprised by that. I honestly was surprised that he won. I was happy, but surprised. With the Charlotte Flair one, I assumed that was my pick. Jay, I do believe I even knocked out of my top four on my final prediction because I just kept thinking, I'm like, well, he's going to be up there towards like the very end, but I don't think he's going to be final four. And then when when we had the final six in there, I had my top four and then Logan Paul and Jay. I was like, oh, well, the other two are going. And then it was them at some point, which it was pretty crazy. It made sense with Logan Paul coming at 30. I didn't expect him to come in that late, but yeah, I like the idea of Jey Uso being in there, but I think they shouldn't be so rushed into putting him against Gunther. I think a little bit of a build-up might be something, but like him and Gunther building up their feud to go into WrestleMania, I don't think is as high of a level that he would have had against somebody else too. So I think like we're gonna have a lot of mixed bag between here and WrestleMania. But yeah, I mean, I still like the spontaneity of it. So overall, the match, like I said, was just really fantastic. There was so much cinematic moments. It's definitely an S tier match for me, and I think the card in general was pretty S tier. I love Royal Rumble. I like what they do with it every year. Keeps you on your toes. I think last year I had predicted both winners. This year I was one for two. Honestly, was surprised. I really didn't have as clear of a cut than I had with the men's, so I'm not surprised I was wrong, but I was surprised that it wasn't one of the four that I thought it was. But yeah, congratulations to Jay and Charlotte, and I'm really excited to see the road to WrestleMania now that it starts after this, and we'll see where we go with this. Bye, guys.